The sound of Gene zipping his suitcase is what finally makes it real. I'm standing in our bedroom doorway, watching my husband of 15 years pack like he's checking out of a hotel. Methodical, efficient, cold. You're really doing this, I say, though it's not a question. He doesn't look up from folding his shirts, the ones I've been washing and pressing for over a decade. I told you last week, Olive, this isn't working anymore. My name is Olive, by the way. Olive Roberts. 42 years old, mother of one, and as of today, apparently a woman whose husband is walking out on her for a 27-year-old yoga instructor named Layla. Last week, you said you needed space to think, I remind him. You didn't say you were moving in with her. Gene finally looks at me, and there's something in his expression I've never seen before. Contempt. Pure, undiluted contempt. What did you expect, Olive? That I'd come crawling back to this? He gestures around our bedroom, our home, like it's something distasteful. To you sitting at that computer all day with your pathetic little online hobby? My laptop sits closed on my desk in the corner. Innocent, unassuming, if only he knew. That hobby pays for groceries, I say quietly. Jean laughs. Actually laughs. A few $100s a month from whatever blog nonsense you're doing. Please, I make more in a day than you make in a year. He's wrong about that. So spectacularly wrong that I almost smile. Almost. The accounts, I say instead. Jean, you can't just. I can, and I did. He snaps his suitcase shut. I moved my money to a separate account. Our joint savings is cleaned out. The checking account has enough for you to figure out your next move. My stomach drops. How much? $500. The number hits me like a physical blow. 15 years of marriage, and he's leaving me with $500. You can't do that. Half of everything is mine. Half of what, Olive? Jean's voice is getting louder now, more aggressive. Half of the house I bought, half of the car I pay for, half of the life I built while you sat around playing on the internet? I raised our daughter. I took care of this house. I supported your career. You brought nothing to this marriage, he cuts me off, and you'll leave with nothing. The words hang in the air between us like a slap. I feel my face burning, my hands shaking. Sophia knows? I ask. She's staying with me at Layla's place for now, but we're looking at houses. She's 17, Jean. She needs stability. She needs a parent who isn't a complete failure. He picks up his suitcase and walks toward the door. She blames you for this, by the way. Says if you'd been a better wife, I wouldn't have had to look elsewhere. The cruelty of it steals my breath. My own daughter, choosing sides, and I'm the villain in her story. Jean pauses at the bedroom door. My lawyer will be in touch. Brody Miller. Maybe you've heard of him. I have. Everyone in town has. Brody Miller is the attorney you hire when you want to destroy someone in divorce court. You'll want to get your own lawyer, Jean continues, though I'm not sure how you'll afford one on your little hobby income. He's almost to the front door when I find my voice again. Jean. He turns back, and for just a second I see a flicker of something that might be regret. Or maybe I'm imagining it. This is really what you want? I ask. This is what I deserve, he says. I deserve better than this. Better than you. The front door closes behind him with a soft click. I stand there in the sudden silence of my empty house, listening to his car pull out of the driveway, listening to the sound of my life falling apart. My phone buzzes, a text from my sister Tessa. On my way over, don't do anything stupid. I walk to my desk and open my laptop. The screen lights up, showing my dashboard. Numbers that would make Gene's eyes water. A business empire he dismissed as a pathetic little hobby. I stare at those numbers for a long moment, then close the laptop again. Gene thinks he knows what I'm worth. He thinks he knows who I am. He's about to find out how wrong he is. Tessa arrives 30 minutes later with coffee, tissues, and the kind of grim determination that makes her terrifying in PTA meetings. Where is he? She asks, scanning the living room like Jean might be hiding behind the couch. Gone. Moved in with Layla. That little? Tessa catches herself, sets down the coffee, and pulls me into a hug that smells like her expensive perfume and righteous anger. I'm so sorry, Olive. I let myself lean into her for exactly 10 seconds before pulling away. I need a lawyer. Jacob knows someone. Cora Reyes. She's Daria's cousin, actually. Quiet, but she's got a reputation for eating opposing counsel alive. Can I afford her? Tessa gives me a look. With what money? Gene cleaned out your accounts, didn't he? I nod, not trusting my voice. That bastard. Tessa pulls out her phone. I'm calling Cora right now. Jacob and I will cover the retainer. Tessa, I can't. You can and you will. This is what family does. While she makes the call, I walk to the kitchen and stare at the empty coffee maker. Gene always made the coffee. 15 years of mornings, and I never learned his routine because it was his thing. How many other his things am I going to discover? She can see you tomorrow at 10, Tessa says, appearing in the doorway. And Olive? She says don't sign anything Gene sends you, not even if it looks harmless. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. This is Brody Miller representing Gene Roberts. Expect papers tomorrow. Cooperate, and this can be simple. I show Tessa the message. Her face goes white, then red. Brody Miller? That shark? Gene's really going for the throat. He said I brought nothing to the marriage, that I'll leave with nothing. He's wrong. Tessa grabs my shoulders. Listen to me. You raised his child. You managed his household. You supported his career for 15 years. That has value. If only she knew about the other value. The numbers on my laptop screen that Jean dismissed so casually. I keep thinking about Sophia, I say instead. She won't even answer my calls. She's 17 and her world just imploded. She'll come around. She blames me because it's easier than blaming him. Trust me, I've been there. Tessa had her own messy divorce before Jacob. I'd forgotten. What if she's right? What if I could have been a better wife? Stop. Tessa's voice is sharp. Don't you dare blame yourself for his choices. He's the one who cheated. He's the one who abandoned his family, not you. My phone rings. Daria's name flashes on the screen. I heard, she says before I can even say hello. Tessa called me. I'm coming over. You don't have to. Like hell, I don't. I'm bringing wine, and we're going to plan this man's destruction. She hangs up before I can argue. Daria's coming, I tell Tessa. Good. You need your people right now. Daria arrives 20 minutes later with a bottle of wine and a laptop bag. She hugs me hard, then immediately starts pacing. Okay, first things first. What's your financial situation? Really? I glance at Tessa, who's watching me carefully. Jean emptied the joint accounts. Left me with $500. That's financial abuse, Daria says immediately. Cora will have a field day with that. He says everything belongs to him, the house, the cars, everything. Bullshit. You've been married 15 years. You're entitled to half of everything acquired during the marriage. Daria opens her laptop and starts typing. I'm documenting everything, every conversation, every text, every threat. We're going to bury him in paperwork. Daria, I say quietly, there's something else. She looks up and I see understanding flash in her eyes. She knows about my business. She's the only one who knows. What's something else? Tessa asks. I look between them. Tessa, my protective older sister who thinks I need rescuing. Daria, my best friend who knows exactly how capable I am of rescuing myself. My online work, I say carefully. It's more than Jean realizes. How much more? Tessa asks. Before I can answer, my phone buzzes again. Another text from Brody Miller. Preliminary asset disclosure attached. Review and respond within 48 hours. Failure to comply will be viewed as obstruction. I open the attachment. It's a document listing Gene's assets: his salary, his 401k, his car, his half of the house. At the bottom, there's a line for my assets. Minimal online income, estimated $200-$500 monthly. Daria reads over my shoulder and snorts. Minimal online income. If only they knew. Knew what? Tessa demands. I close my eyes. My business isn't a hobby, Tessa. It's bigger than that. How much bigger? Daria grins. Show her. I open my laptop and pull up my dashboard. Tessa leans over my shoulder and I watch her face change as she processes the numbers. Holy shit, Olive. Are those real? Very real. You're a millionaire? Several times over. Tessa sits down hard on the couch. And Jean has no idea? None. He never asked about the details, just called it my pathetic little hobby. Oh, Daria says, her grin turning predatory. This is going to be fun. The meeting with Cora is nothing like I expected. She's maybe 5'2", wearing a cardigan that looks like it came from Target, and she orders her coffee with extra sugar like she's treating herself. But when she opens her briefcase and spreads Jean's asset disclosure across the table, her eyes go cold. Your husband's lawyer is an arrogant prick, she says matter of factly, which works in our favor. How so? He's underestimated you. Look at this. She taps the line about my minimal online income. Brody didn't even bother to investigate. He took your husband's word for it. Should I correct them? Cora's smile is razor thin. Not yet. Let them dig their own grave first. For now, we play meek. Confused housewife who doesn't understand money. Can you do that? I've been doing it for 15 years. Good, because the moment they realize what you're actually worth, they'll pivot to claiming your business as marital property. My stomach drops. Can they do that? They can try, but you started this business before the marriage deteriorated using your own skills and time. We can argue it's separate property. Cora leans forward. Tell me about the business structure. LLCs? Corporations? How clean are your records? Very clean. My CFO, Gabriella, handles all the compliance. You have a CFO? Cora raises an eyebrow. How big is this operation? I tell her. Everything. The revenue, the growth, the team I've built. Cora takes notes without changing expression, but I see her grip tighten on her pen. Jesus Christ, Olive, you're not just financially independent, you're wealthy. Gene doesn't know. Gene's about to get the shock of his life. Cora closes her notepad. But first, we let him make some mistakes. Those mistakes start immediately. I'm at the grocery store the next day when I see Melissa from book club. She gives me this pitying smile and touches my arm. Oh, Olive, I heard. I'm so sorry. Thank you. If you need anything, I know it must be hard. Financially. Word travels fast in our neighborhood. Jean's been talking. I'm managing, I say. Well, if you need help with groceries or anything. She trails off, clearly uncomfortable. I want to tell her I could buy the entire grocery store without checking my bank balance. Instead, I smile and thank her for her concern. At home, I find a moving truck in my driveway. Gene stands on my front porch with a key in his hand, directing two men carrying boxes into my house. My house? What the hell are you doing? I ask, moving Layla in, temporarily. This is my home, Gene. It's our home. Marital property. My lawyer says I have every right to be here. One of the movers carries past me with a box labeled Layla's yoga stuff. I want to grab it and throw it in the street. Where am I supposed to go? You can stay in the guest room or find somewhere else. Your choice. The front door opens and Layla emerges, all blonde hair and yoga pants and fake sympathy. Oh, Olive. This is so awkward. But Jean says it's just until we find our own place. She's younger than I was when I married Jean, younger than I was when I had Sophia. How long? I ask. Jean shrugs. However long it takes. That evening, I sit in the guest room of my own house, listening to them laugh in the kitchen. My kitchen, using my dishes, drinking my wine. I call Sophia. What do you want? She answers. I want to talk to you. About what? About how you drove Dad away? Sophia, that's not what happened. Isn't it? He told me you've been cold to him for years, that you never supported his career, that all you cared about was your stupid computer. He's lying. Is he? Because I remember, Mom. I remember you always being on that laptop, always distracted, always. I was working. Working? You call blogging work? The dismissal in her voice sounds exactly like her father. It cuts deeper than I expected. I call supporting this family work. I call building something meaningful work. Whatever. I'm staying with Dad. She hangs up. I stare at my phone, then open my laptop. I have work to do. I start with Jean's company. A few strategic posts in professional forums, asking innocent questions about their financial stability, mentioning delays in payments I've heard about, Nothing traceable, nothing actionable, just seeds of doubt. Then I moved to social media. Gene's been posting photos of his new life with Layla, expensive dinners, weekend trips, her in designer workout clothes. I screenshot everything. My phone buzzes. A text from Cora. Gene filed motion to freeze your assets pending investigation. Emergency hearing tomorrow at 2 p.m. I stare at the message. He's trying to freeze assets he doesn't even know exist. I text back. Can he do that? He can try, but he's about to learn why you don't poke a sleeping dragon. I close my laptop and listen to Jean and Layla laughing downstairs in my living room. Tomorrow, the real war begins. The mediation room smells like stale coffee and broken dreams. I sit across from Jean and Brody playing the part Cora coached me on. Confused housewife, overwhelmed, a little scattered. I'm sorry, I say, fumbling through my purse. I know I had those bank statements somewhere. Brody checks his Rolex with obvious irritation. Mrs. Roberts, we've been waiting 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm not good with this stuff. Jean always handled the finances. Jean smirks. See? This is exactly what I've been dealing with for years. Cora sits beside me, perfectly calm. Take your time, Olive. I finally produce a crumpled bank statement for an account with $347 in it. My decoy account. Is this what you needed? I ask. Brody barely glances at it. This supports our position. Mrs. Roberts clearly has minimal financial resources. What about her online business? The mediator asks. What business? Brody laughs. She runs a blog, makes maybe a few hundred a month. Actually, Cora says quietly, we'd like to see documentation of Mr. Roberts' recent financial activities. What kind of documentation? Jean asks. Well, for instance, the $15,000 withdrawal from your business account last month, the one that went to pay for a trip to Cabo with Ms. Ortiz. Jean's face goes red. That was a business trip. With your girlfriend? How interesting. Brody jumps in. My client's personal relationships aren't relevant here. They are when marital funds are being used to finance them. Cora replies. We have credit card statements showing $8,000 in charges at luxury hotels, restaurants, and jewelry stores, all while he was claiming financial hardship. I watched Gene squirm. He thought I was too stupid to track his spending. Furthermore, Cora continues, we have evidence of asset hiding. Mr. Roberts moved $50,000 from joint accounts to a personal account without his wife's knowledge or consent. I earned that money, Jean snaps, during the marriage, which makes it marital property. The mediator makes notes. Mr. Miller, your client will need to provide full financial disclosure, including all recent transfers. After the session, Jean corners me in the parking lot. What the hell was that, Olive? What was what? That lawyer. Those questions. You're supposed to be cooperating. I am cooperating. I brought my bank statements. Don't play dumb with me. I know you're up to something. I adjust my purse strap and look at him with wide, innocent eyes. I don't know what you mean. He studies my face, looking for cracks in my performance. You're different. My husband left me for a woman half my age. Of course I'm different. That's not what I mean. I have to go, Jean. Layla's probably wondering where you are. I drive away, leaving him standing there. That evening, I'm in the guest room working when I hear shouting downstairs. Jean and Layla are fighting. You said this would be simple, Layla's voice carries through the thin walls. You said she was pathetic and would just roll over. She is pathetic. This is just her lawyer trying to complicate things. Well, complicate them faster. I'm not living in this house with your ex wife indefinitely. It's temporary, baby, once the divorce is final. Once the divorce is final, what? You'll be paying her alimony? You'll lose half your assets? This isn't what you promised me, Jean. A door slams. Car tires screech in the driveway. 20 minutes later, there's a soft knock on my door. Mom? I open it to find Sophia standing in the hallway, her eyes red from crying. Sophia, what are you doing here? Dad and Layla had a fight. She left. He's he's drinking. I step aside to let her in. She sits on the edge of the bed, looking younger than her 17 years. I heard them fighting about you, about the divorce. What did you hear? Layla said you were going to take everything, that Dad was stupid for underestimating you. Sophia looks up at me. Mom, what's really going on? I sit beside her. What do you mean? I mean, Dad keeps saying you're helpless and stupid, but his lawyer seems worried. And Layla's freaking out about money. She pauses. And I found something. My heart stops. What did you find? I was using Dad's laptop to do homework, and I saw his browser history. He's been researching your business, something called Empowerment Digital Solutions, the name of my company. Jean's been digging. Mom, that's your company, isn't it? The one that makes millions? I stare at my daughter. How do you know about the millions? I'm not stupid, Mom. I've seen the packages that come here, the business mail, the way you work all hours, but never seem stressed about money. She takes a shaky breath. You're rich, aren't you? Sophia, and Dad has no idea. I nod slowly. Holy shit, Mom. Language. Holy shit. She repeats, grinning through her tears. You're going to destroy him. I'm going to protect myself. There's a difference. Is there? She looks at me with something I haven't seen in months. Respect. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like Dad picked a fight with the wrong woman. Downstairs, something crashes. Jean's voice, slurred and angry, shouts Layla's name. Sophia and I look at each other. Maybe you should stay here tonight, I say. Yeah, she agrees. I think I should. The courthouse smells like fear and expensive cologne. Gene sits at the plaintiff's table in his best suit, Brody beside him, shuffling through papers with the confidence of a man who's never lost. They've brought charts, financial projections, character witnesses, the works. I'm wearing a simple dress from Target and carrying a worn purse. Cora sits beside me with a single manila folder. All rise for the Honorable Judge Martinez. The judge is a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and zero patience for bullshit. She's seen it all. This is a motion for temporary spousal support and asset division, she begins. Mr. Miller, you may proceed. Brody stands, all swagger and silk tie. Your Honor, my client Jean Roberts has been the sole breadwinner in this 15-year marriage. Mrs. Roberts has contributed nothing financially to the household, instead pursuing what can only be described as a hobby. He clicks a remote. A PowerPoint slide appears showing Gene's salary history. Impressive numbers. Mr. Roberts earns $180,000 annually as a senior consultant. He has built substantial retirement savings, maintains the family home, and has supported his wife's recreational activities for over a decade. Another slide. This one shows my income, the fake numbers Jean provided, estimating my earnings at maybe $500 a month. Mrs. Roberts has no marketable skills, no substantial income, and no assets of her own. She is entirely dependent on my client's generosity. Jean nods along, playing the part of the long suffering husband. Furthermore, Brody continues, Mrs. Roberts has been uncooperative in mediation, failing to provide basic financial documentation. We ask the court to award temporary spousal support and to divide assets based on actual contribution to the marriage. He sits down, clearly pleased with himself. Ms. Reyes? Judge Martinez looks at Kosh. Cora stands slowly, still holding just that one folder. Your Honor, opposing counsel has painted quite a picture. Unfortunately for them, it's fiction. She opens the folder and pulls out a single sheet of paper. This is Mrs. Roberts' actual financial disclosure. She hands it to the bailiff, who passes it to the judge. I watch Judge Martinez's eyebrows climb toward her hairline as she reads. Mr. Miller, the judge says carefully, are you aware that Mrs. Roberts owns and operates Empowerment Digital Solutions? Brody's confident smile falters. I'm sorry, Your Honor. A company that generated 2.3 million in revenue last year alone. The courtroom goes dead silent. Jean's face drains of color. That's that's impossible, Brody stammers. My client assured me. Your client was wrong. Judge Martinez looks at Jean with the expression she probably reserves for tax evaders and deadbeat dads. Mr. Roberts, did you know about your wife's business? Jean opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. It's just a blog. She plays around on the computer. This playing around includes a staff of 12 employees, contracts with Fortune 500 companies, and assets worth approximately 4.2 million. Brody is frantically whispering to Jean, who looks like he might throw up. Furthermore, Cora continues, Mrs. Roberts has documentation showing that Mr. Roberts withdrew $65,000 from joint accounts without her knowledge or consent, spending it on vacations and gifts for his girlfriend. She produces bank statements, credit card bills, receipts, everything. While claiming his wife contributed nothing to the marriage, Mr. Roberts was systematically hiding assets and depleting marital funds to finance his affair. Judge Martinez studies the papers. Mr. Miller, your motion is based on the premise that Mrs. Roberts is financially dependent on your client. Given this new information, would you like to revise your position? Brody looks like a deer in headlights. Your Honor, we need time to review. You had time to review. You chose not to investigate your own claims. The judge's voice is ice cold. Motion denied. Your Honor, Cora says, we'd like to file a counter motion for temporary spousal support. From whom to whom? Judge Martinez asks, though her slight smile suggests she already knows. From Mr. Roberts to Mrs. Roberts. Given the significant disparity in their assets, Mrs. Roberts is entitled to support during these proceedings. Gene finally finds his voice. She's a millionaire. She doesn't need my money. Mr. Roberts, Judge Martinez says sharply, you just spent 20 minutes arguing that your wife has no income and no assets. You can't have it both ways. But I didn't know. That's your problem, not the court's. The judge makes notes, then looks up. Mrs. Roberts, do you wish to remain in the marital home? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Roberts, you have 48 hours to remove yourself and your belongings from the family residence. Mrs. Roberts has exclusive use of the home pending final divorce proceedings. Gene shoots to his feet. You can't do that. It's my house. Sit down, Mr. Roberts. It's a marital asset, and given your recent behavior, I'm not inclined to trust you with shared custody of anything, including real estate. Furthermore, the judge continues, Mr. Roberts will pay temporary spousal support of $3,000 per month until this matter is resolved. $3,000? Jean's voice cracks. To a millionaire? To the woman you tried to leave destitute while you emptied joint accounts for your girlfriend. Consider it a lesson in honesty, Mr. Roberts. Judge Martinez bangs her gavel. Court adjourned. As people file out, Jean grabs my arm. You lying bitch. You sat there and let me think. Let you think what? I pull free of his grip. That I was the same woman you could dismiss and discard? That I was as helpless as you wanted me to be? You made me look like a fool. No, Jean, you did that all by yourself. Brody appears at Jean's elbow, his face red with embarrassment and rage. We need to talk, he hisses. Now! As they walk away, I hear Brody's voice. Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you know what this makes me look like? Cora packs up her single folder. Well, that was fun. Is it over? Oh, honey, that was just round one. Outside the courthouse, my phone buzzes with a text from Sophia. Dad just called screaming about court. Did you really make him pay you alimony? I text back. Justice is a beautiful thing. Mom, you're my hero. For the first time in months, I smile. Jean doesn't go quietly. 3 days after the court hearing, Brody files an emergency motion claiming my business is marital property. They want half of everything: my company, my assets, my intellectual property. They're desperate, Cora explains over coffee, but desperate people make mistakes. The mistake comes in the form of a process server at my door delivering papers while a local news reporter happens to be in the neighborhood. Mrs. Roberts, is it true your husband is seeking half of your multi-million-dollar business? The reporter asks, shoving a microphone in my face. No comment, I say, but the damage is done. By evening, the story is everywhere. Local man seeks half of wife's secret empire. Husband discovers wife's hidden millions during divorce. My phone won't stop ringing. Reporters, business contacts, neighbors, everyone wants the story. But the real fireworks start when Jean's company calls an emergency meeting. I know because Sophia texts me. Dad's freaking out. His boss wants to see him tomorrow. Something about negative publicity affecting client relationships. I'm not surprised. I've been busy. See? Jean's consulting firm works with conservative family values clients, churches, traditional family organizations, pro marriage advocacy groups, the kind of clients who don't love headlines about cheating husbands and bitter divorce battles. I may have sent a few anonymous tips to their biggest clients. Nothing untrue, just links to news articles about Jean's very public marital drama. The next morning, Daria calls with an update. Riley heard from his friend whose mom works at Jean's company. They're restructuring his position. Meaning? Meaning he's getting fired, but they're calling it a layoff to avoid wrongful termination claims. That was fast. Apparently, three major clients threatened to pull their contracts if Gene stayed on. Bad optics, having a guy who abandons his family representing family values organizations. I should feel guilty. I don't. That afternoon, Layla shows up at my door. She's still beautiful, but there are cracks in the facade. Her yoga pants are wrinkled, her hair needs washing, and her fake nails are chipped. We need to talk, she says. Do we? Gene's lost his job. The legal bills are piling up. He can't afford the apartment we were looking at. That sounds like a Gene problem. It's about to become your problem, too. She pushes past me into the house. He's talking about fighting dirty, really dirty. Such as, he wants to claim you've been hiding assets for years, tax evasion, fraud, whatever it takes to destroy your business. I close the door and turn to face her. And you're telling me this because? Because I'm not going down with this ship. Layla looks around my living room, my beautiful, expensive living room that Gene always claimed he paid for. I thought I was getting a successful man. Instead, I got a broke, bitter loser who's about to drag everyone down with him. So you're jumping ship. I'm being practical. Gene lied to me about everything, his finances, his marriage, his prospects. Did you know he's been borrowing money against his 401k to pay for our dates? I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. What do you want from me, Layla? Nothing. I just wanted you to know what he's planning, and I wanted to apologize. That surprises me. Apologize? I believed his version of events. That you were this cold, neglectful wife who drove him away. I helped him justify what he was doing. She looks genuinely ashamed. I was wrong. Yes, you were. For what it's worth, you're nothing like he described. He said you were weak and pathetic. But you're not, are you? No, I'm not. He's scared of you now. Really scared. And scared men do stupid things. After she leaves, I call Cora. Jean's planning to claim fraud and tax evasion, I tell her. Let him try. Your books are clean, right? Spotless. Gabriella makes sure of that. Then he's just digging himself deeper. But Olive, be careful. Cornered animals bite. That evening, Sophia comes home from school upset. Some kids at school are saying stuff about you, about the business, calling you a liar and a cheat. What kind of stuff? That you've been hiding money from dad for years, that you're a fraud. She sits heavily on the couch. I told them they were idiots, but what? Is it true? Have you been hiding the business from dad? I sit beside her. I never hid it. I just never talked about it. Why not? Because every time I tried to discuss my work, your father dismissed it, called it a hobby, made jokes about my little computer games. After a while, I stopped trying. So he really didn't know. He didn't want to know. There's a difference. Sophia nods slowly. He's really angry, Mom, like scary angry. At me? At everyone. At you, at his lawyer, at Layla for leaving, at his job for firing him. He keeps saying everyone's against him. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. You think you're so smart. You have no idea what's coming. I show it to Sophia. Her face goes pale. That's Dad's new number. He got a burner phone. Why would he need a burner phone? I don't know, but Mom, I think you should call the police. Before I can respond, my laptop chimes with an email notification. The subject line makes my blood run cold. Your secret's out. I open it. It's from a throwaway email address, but I know it's Jean. Enjoy your victory while it lasts. I know things about your business that your precious lawyer doesn't, things that could destroy everything you've built. Back off, or I'll make sure the whole world knows what kind of person you really are. Sophia reads over my shoulder. What's he talking about? I have no idea. But that's not entirely true, because there is one thing about my business that I've never told anyone. Not Cora, not Daria, not even Gabriella. One secret that could unravel everything. And somehow Gene knows. The secret Gene thinks he knows isn't what he thinks it is. I spend the night going through every email, every document, every piece of correspondence from the past 5 years. Whatever he found, whatever he thinks he has on me, I need to find it first. At 3 a.m., I find it. An email thread from 2 years ago with a potential client who wanted me to promote a cryptocurrency scheme. I'd turned them down immediately, but not before they'd sent me detailed information about their operation, information that could look damning out of context. Gene must have found it on my laptop during one of his rare visits to my office. He probably didn't understand what he was looking at then, but now, desperate and angry, he's twisted it into something sinister. My phone rings at 6 a.m. Gene's burner number. "We need to meet," he says without preamble. "No. Yes. Today? Or I go to the IRS with what I found." "Gene, you don't understand what you're looking at." "I understand enough. Cryptocurrency schemes, offshore accounts, tax avoidance. Your perfect little business isn't so clean after all. Those emails are from a client I refuse to work with. I never prove it in court after the IRS freezes all your assets and launches a full investigation." My hands are shaking. "What do you want?" "Meet me at Riverside Park, 1 hour. Come alone." He hangs up. I call Cora immediately. "Don't go," she says. "Whatever he thinks he has, we can handle it legally." He's talking about the IRS, Cora. Even if I'm cleared eventually, the investigation alone could destroy my business. Then we get ahead of it. We contact the IRS ourselves, explain the situation. There's no time. He's desperate enough to do anything. Against Cora's advice, I drive to Riverside Park. Gene is sitting on a bench by the pond, looking like he hasn't slept in days. His expensive suit is wrinkled, his hair unwashed. This isn't the confident man who walked out on me 6 weeks ago. "You came," he says as I approach. "What do you want, Jean?" "I want my life back." "Your life?" "My job, my reputation, my family. You've destroyed everything." I sit on the opposite end of the bench. "I didn't destroy anything. You did that yourself. By leaving you? By finally being honest about what I wanted? By emptying our accounts? By moving your girlfriend into our house? By trying to leave me with nothing? You had nothing. You were nothing." His voice rises, then breaks. "I gave you everything: a home, a family, a life, and you repaid me by lying for years." "I never lied. You hid millions of dollars from me. I built a business you refused to take seriously." We stare at each other across the bench. Two people who shared a life for 15 years, now strangers. "I loved you," Jean says quietly. "I really did. But you changed. You became someone I didn't recognize. I became someone you couldn't control. Maybe." He pulls out his phone. "But I can still destroy you." "With those emails?" "Gene, I never worked with those people. I have documentation proving I turned them down." "Do you? Because from what I saw, it looked like you were very interested in their offshore banking suggestions." My stomach drops. "You don't have the full email thread." "I have enough. Screenshots of you discussing cryptocurrency investments, tax shelters, moving money through shell companies. Those were their suggestions that I rejected. Prove it after your business is shut down and your assets are frozen." I study his face. The man I married, the father of my child, is threatening to destroy my life with lies. "What do you want?" I ask again. "I want you to drop the divorce. I want you to take me back. I want us to be a family again." "With Layla?" "Layla's gone. She left when the money dried up." His laugh is bitter. "Turns out she wasn't interested in the real me, just like you." "Gene, we can't go back." "Why not? We have a daughter together. We have history. And now we have your money." "My money?" "Our money. Community property. I'll drop the threats, we'll reconcile, and we'll be rich together." I stare at him in disbelief. "You think I'd take you back after everything you've done? I think you're smart enough to know when you're beaten." "I'm not beaten, Gene. I'm just disappointed." "In me?" "In myself, for not seeing who you really were sooner." I stand up. "Do whatever you're going to do. Send your screenshots to the IRS. Call the newspapers. I don't care anymore." "Olive, wait. No. I'm done being afraid of you. I'm done letting you control me with threats and manipulation." I start walking toward my car. I'll destroy you, he shouts after me. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. I turn back. Go ahead, Jean. Show the world exactly what kind of person you are. That afternoon, Jean makes good on his threat. The story hits the local news first. Millionaire businesswoman under investigation for tax fraud. By evening, it's trending on social media. My phone explodes with calls from reporters, clients, competitors. Everyone wants a statement. I give them one. I'm scheduling a press conference for tomorrow morning, I tell Cora. It's time to stop hiding. Olive, are you sure about this? I'm sure. Gene wants to play dirty, fine, but he's about to learn that I play to win. The next morning, I stand in front of a room full of reporters and cameras. For the first time in 15 years, I'm not hiding behind anyone else's shadow. My name is Olive Roberts, I begin, and I have a story to tell. The press conference changes everything. I tell them about building my business from nothing while raising a daughter and supporting a husband who called my work a pathetic hobby. I show them the emails Gene claims are evidence of fraud, the full thread where I explicitly refuse to work with the cryptocurrency scammers. My husband is a man who emptied our joint accounts to fund vacations with his girlfriend, I say into the cameras. A man who moved his mistress into our family home, a man who, when faced with the consequences of his choices, decided to destroy me with lies rather than accept responsibility for his actions. I hold up printouts of Gene's credit card statements. These show $30,000 in charges for jewelry, hotels, and restaurants, all while he was claiming financial hardship in court. The reporters eat it up. By that evening, the narrative has completely flipped. Gene isn't the wronged husband anymore. He's the cheating spouse who tried to frame his successful wife for tax fraud. The IRS investigation, Gene threatened, it lasts exactly 3 days. My books are so clean, they practically sparkle, and the cryptocurrency emails actually help my case by showing I refuse unethical business practices. But the real victory comes when my phone rings that night. Olive? Jean's voice is broken. Can we talk? We're talking? I mean, in person. Please. Why? Because I'm sorry. Because I was wrong about everything. Because I need help. I find him at the same park bench where he threatened me a week ago. He looks terrible, unshaven, hollow eyed, wearing the same clothes from the press conference footage. Layla's gone, he says without looking at me. My job's gone. My reputation's gone. The apartment I was renting. They kicked me out when the story broke. Where are you staying? My car. Gene Roberts, who once made $180,000 a year, is living in his car. I'm sorry, he continues, for all of it, for leaving, for the threats, for trying to destroy you. I was angry and scared, and I took it out on you. Why were you scared? Because you didn't need me anymore. Maybe you never did. He finally looks at me. Do you know what that feels like? To realize you're completely irrelevant to someone you thought couldn't survive without you? Yes, I say quietly. I do. I wanted to hurt you the way you hurt me. How did I hurt you, Jean? By being successful without me. By building something amazing while I wasn't paying attention. By proving that all those years I thought I was the important one, the provider, the one who mattered. I was wrong. We sit in silence for a moment. I don't want your money, he says finally. I don't want the house or alimony or any of it. I just want to see Sophia sometimes. And I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago. Jean, I know it's too late. I know I destroyed everything, but I needed you to hear it. He stands up. I'll sign whatever papers Cora sends. No contest, no demands. You win, Olive. You deserve to win. He walks away, and I let him go. The divorce is finalized 3 weeks later. Gene gets visitation with Sophia and nothing else. He moves to another state, takes a job with a small consulting firm, and slowly starts rebuilding his life. Sophia and I have dinner together every night now. She's applying to colleges, talking about studying business. She wants to understand what I built, how I did it. Were you ever going to tell me? She asks one evening. About the company? When you were older. When you were ready. I'm ready now. So I show her everything. The late nights, the failed launches, the gradual building of something meaningful. She listens with the intensity she used to reserve for her favorite TV shows. I want to work for you, she says. After college, I want to learn the business. It's not easy work, Sophia. It's long hours and constant pressure, and it's what you love. I can see it when you talk about it. She's right. Despite everything, the divorce, the threats, the public scrutiny, I love what I've built. Tessa stops by the next morning with coffee and gossip. Did you see the news about Brody? She asks. What about him? Three of his clients fired him after the press conference. Apparently, they don't appreciate lawyers who don't do basic research. Good. You know what the best part is? Jean's case is being used in law schools now as an example of how not to handle a divorce. We laugh about that longer than we probably should. My phone buzzes with an email. The subject line reads, Thank you for saving my life. It's from a woman in Ohio whose husband was financially abusing her. She used my online resources to secretly build her own income stream, just like I did. She left him last month and took her kids with her. I never would have had the courage without your example, she writes. You showed me that we don't have to accept being powerless. I forward the email to Daria with a note. This is why we do the work. She texts back immediately. Damn right it is. Proud of you, boss. I close my laptop and look around my house now, officially and completely. Sophia's backpack is by the front door, her college brochures spread across the kitchen table. The guest room has been converted back to my office. Everything is exactly as it should be. Jean was right about one thing. I didn't need him. I never did. But I needed to learn that for myself. And now that I have, there's no limit to what comes next.